Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a podcast exclusively designed to create more reproductive health awareness and discuss your fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
Today's show is Balancing Hormones Naturally with Ashley Rocha of Ladywell, and we're going to talk about holistic women's health and fertility support. Did you know that nearly 80% of women experience hormonal imbalances that can impact their mood, energy, and fertility? Yet many of these issues go undiagnosed or untreated. If you've ever felt frustrated by fatigue, brain fog, or hormonal ups and downs, you won't want to miss this conversation with Ashley. She's on a mission to revolutionize women's hormone health with science-backed, plant-based solutions that actually worked. I'm so excited to welcome Ashley to the Egg Whisperer Show today. Welcome to the show, Ashley.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Ashley, your journey to founding Ladywell is deeply personal. How did your experience with PMDD and fertility challenges inspire you to explore plant-based medicine and ultimately develop targeted solutions for women's hormonal health?
Yeah, so I began Ladywell about 3 years ago. We started formulating a lot longer than that, like right before the pandemic hit. But the reason why I just even started Ladywell in the first place is because the moment I went through puberty, I was thrown into this vicious cycle of PMDD. And for those who don't really know what PMDD is compared to PMS, it's really intensified. The emotional piece of PMS is really intensified. So there can be a lot of anger, irritability, depression, like highs and lows with those mood swings. And then you have the physical symptoms that go along with PMS usually. But for me, that lasted almost 2 decades. And during that time period, I would go to a doctor and I'd mention these symptoms and they'd just prescribe me hormonal birth control or SSRIs. And I knew I didn't need antidepressants because the symptoms went away when I got my period and then I kind of forgot about them type of thing. And I took a lot of different birth controls and none of them solved the problem, of course. And I just kind of lived with it because that's what I was told. PMS is normal. Like there wasn't a lot of education around it. I didn't know that there was things I could do to solve PMS. I wasn't even told about lifestyle changes like nutrition or exercise or de-stressing. Like none of those conversations happened at all. And I just honestly lived with this cycle of PMDD, like the shame spiral that comes with it for 2 decades until my mid 30s when I wanted to start having babies and I started trying to get pregnant. And that didn't come as quickly as I hoped or led to believe when I was a teenager. And so, when you want to have a kid, you are faced with the struggle of not having one, you really kick into gear of like, what's wrong with my body? And I put the pieces together, like the PMDD, like more hormones, like reproduction, like something is off. And during that time, I was also studying herbalism. So I'm a trained herbalist, and I really was focusing on skincare and how herbalism affects your body in that way. And I was like, wait a minute, I really should look to the plant world, a world that I know really well, to solve these issues I have with my fertility and hormones. So I worked with other herbalists and went and saw a functional medicine doctor to really address and see what was going on in my body and help me find plants and create a formula, just like a lifestyle that was going to help me with achieve my life goals of having kids and being PMS, PMDD free. And so I tried so many different herbs and created different formulas and found things that really, really worked well. And knowing how powerful plants are, I was pretty blown away that these things exist in the world. But it was so hard for me to find them. It took me so long, like 2 decades plus of, these struggles. And it made me sad that it took me so long to find that and that other women could be going through the same issues. And I live in the Bay Area, and the Bay Area has a lot of access to naturopathic doctors and like alternative medicine. So it was easier for me to find. I'm sure that other women live in areas that maybe the access isn't as apparent. The information is harder to find. And I was growing up in a time where there was no social media necessarily. Like, Facebook was in the infancy stages. So there wasn't like a spread of information like there is about on TikTok nowadays about cycle syncing, hormone health, and all that kind of stuff. So I began Ladywell because of that. I created formulas that worked really well for me. I started giving them to my friends because we all have similar problems along with our hormones. Like this is a huge issue across the board, whether one person has mood swings, other person has fatigue, it's all interrelated. And it started working really well for other people. And I wanted to bring this to more women, continue the conversation, build more of a movement around identifying that your hormonal health is important. What is hormonal health? How is it connected to everything? Your fertility, your energy, like just your productivity, everything is interconnected. Just bring more education around that and bring more products to the market that women really are in desperate need of.
And you mentioned many of the symptoms go unnoticed, and we're often given things like birth control pills. For someone who's listening, what are some of the most common signs of hormone imbalance?
Yeah, I think it is. I think hormone balance can be a little bit confusing because a lot of things we are told that we're supposed to have and put up with, and we think are normal to everyday life. Like one is fatigue and brain fog. And you might not think, okay, that's my hormonal health, but that's a really common symptom of hormone imbalance. So if you're feeling drained, no matter how much sleep you get, that's the differentiator. If you're getting enough sleep and you're still tired in the morning or tired at 3 o'clock, it can definitely be your hormones. Mood swings and irritability, I think, is one that's pretty commonly associated with PMS. Like we say that women are bitchy during our periods. Like that's the common association. So mood swings and irritability. So it's kind of like those highs and lows. You can get angry really quickly when maybe at a different time of month, like you wouldn't be angry. And so with that one, like I thought this was just part of being a woman, but this is definitely a sign that something might be off in your hormone balance. And it's not something you have to live with. You don't have to have mood swings. And I think that's a really important thing for people to understand. Unexpected weight changes or a little tire around your belly or inability to lose weight, just like a slow metabolism, is often a sign that something might be off. Irregular periods, like that one's pretty obvious. If you're having skipping cycles, having really heavy flows, unpredictable timing, that one I think is pretty clear that it's your very hormone related. And I think women know that. And then, different phases of your life, you'll have different symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats. Like if you're in postpartum period or if you're going into perimenopause, this will definitely be a sign of hormones, digestive issues, bloating, constipation, gut troubles. Like your gut is so linked to your hormones and your body needs to flush out the estrogen through your gut. And if that's not working correctly, things will go awry. And then low libido, I think we're just like women are kind of made fun of because we have no sex drive a lot of the times, like especially if you have kids or whatever. Like men obviously have more of a sex drive typically, but a low libido or low sex drive can definitely be a sign of hormone imbalance. And there is something you can do about that. If your partner has a bigger sexual appetite, you can fix your hormones and get back to like that high libido stage.
Yeah. And then what can someone do proactively to support their hormone health?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of things you can do proactively instead of waiting for things to fall apart like I did. And I definitely recommend looking at it as a lifestyle from a lot of different angles. You can't just take a supplement and then go eat McDonald's, not work out, like never have good sleep hygiene and have everything function correctly. You need to look at your life in a 360. So, nutrition, exercise, supplements, and then de stressing and having good sleep. I will talk about the nutrition piece is very important, of course. Like you need to be eating a really well balanced diet. And then you can also eat towards the issues that you're or the stage you're at in life. So if you have PMS, like there's really PMS friendly diets. If you have trying to get pregnant, you want to look at fertility boosting foods. If you're in perimenopause, there's different foods to eat. So it really is unique and specific towards the woman. And it's great to see nutritionists, but you can also just find this information online to see like what is good for where you're at in your life stage. And then supplements. In an ideal world, we get everything possible we can through our food. Some things you can't get through food either, but it's important to take supplements that will really, once again, fix the issues you have and then proactively be taking care of your health. So, for example, something like ashwagandha is an amazing adaptogen. It's unrealistic to say that we can never experience stress in life. Stress is horrible for your hormones, it's horrible for fertility. But the fact is, like, it's always going to be there on some level. We can't avoid it. So, taking something like ashwagandha is a great thing to add to your diet to be proactive about your health because that helps your body in its reaction to stress. So, when the stress comes in, you're not like falling apart as much. You will have a easier reaction. Like they'll just come and go. So, I something like ashwagandha is really amazing for that. And then it's always great to take things that we know like majority of us have deficiencies in, like magnesium, vitamin D. For example, magnesium, most people are deficient in, and it really can cause issues like sleep disturbances. I'm a mom and I have like sleep issues all the time. And when I regularly take magnesium, it definitely helps solve that. And I know that I can tell I'm magnesium deficient. I'm not getting it through my diet. I'm not getting it in the ways I need to. So I definitely supplement when I remember to do it. And it does make all the difference in the world. And then I'll move on to one more thing that I think is really important that we overlook a lot of the times, and that's cycle tracking. I think cycle tracking is a really proactive way and important way for women to just be aware of their hormones, their health, and have more knowledge and understanding of where they're at. If you know where you're at in your cycle and you know what your cycle really, what that even means, like how should I feel at different points in my cycle, you can really start to see if something's going awry and you're more connected with your body. So if you can kind of track where you're at if you're getting your period and you're having all these symptoms. It's so easy for us to just kind of forget about things after they happen. Like for me with the PMDD, I would have like my PMDD episode, and then once my period hit, that stuff would disappear and I would just totally forget about it. But if you're really aware of your body, tracking your cycle, tracking your symptoms, you have the data first of all on your phone if you ever need to go to your doctor, but you just like are more empowered with being connected to your body and being in tune with your health. And you can start to see if something's going off and turning for the wrong way. Like all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, why am I fatigued all the time? I used to not be like that. You can start to be able to assess your body and then like bring in supplements, bring in help when you need it at the right time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I use the Aura Ring myself, and it's really helpful because when I feel crabby, I know I'm in the luteal phase. When I'm feeling really bloated, and when I usually don't crave sweets,
Yeah.
but I just know that like when the craving's coming, I know exactly where I am in the cycle. And my Aura Ring should probably tell me put the chocolate away and send me messages like that.
Yeah, it
Um,
helps you, like, plan your life too, so it's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be in a certain phase of my period where I know I'm gonna have really low energy, like, maybe that's not the day I should have this, like, 2-day intensive workshop with my co-founder, or I should not, like if I shouldn't send off that email that's, like, gonna anger anybody, like, let's take a step back and, like, wait a few days and then see if I have the same reaction then.
Exactly, I do that. I literally know. I look at where I'm at in the cycle and then my reaction to something, and I won't send that email out. And I book talks actually around times, like when I'm giving seminars, around times where I know I'm gonna be in the follicular phase. So I couldn't agree with you more. And you
Perfect.
mentioned the word adaptogens for folks that are listening to us who don't know what adaptogens are. Can you just share a little bit about what they are?
Yeah, adaptogens are a special group of herbs and mushrooms that help your body adapt, hence the name, to stress, whether it's physical, emotional, or environmental. They work really by supporting your adrenal glands, which play a huge role in the hormone production imbalance. So, when stress hits, your body releases cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And too much cortisol can throw off your entire hormonal symphony in your body, leading to issues like irregular periods, mood swings, and fatigue, and more. And that's where adaptogens really come in. They help balance cortisol levels, which keep the stress in check so your hormones can function smoothly. They support energy levels, so help you avoid that crash and help like the steady, focused energy throughout the day. They help you regulate mood and sleep, so calming that nervous system and promoting better sleep. And then enhance resilience, so just making it easier to bounce back from life's chaos, like I was saying earlier with ashwagandha being an adaptogen. Like it just allows you to like overcome what is going on, just keep on going through your day with no problem.
So I'm alcohol free and I drink Aplos. So Aplos has
Oh yeah,
adaptogens in it. And
just saw an
that's
ad for
my
them.
Yeah, so, they're great.
Yeah.
They're very expensive though, and I bring them to parties because I don't wanna look like the boring person,
Yeah,
but
beautiful
everyone steals
packaging.
the beautiful pack and everyone steals them. I wanna be a brand ambassador for them, so maybe I can get a good deal,
Yeah, you should.
um, but I love them.
Yeah.
Um, and then how do your products at Ladywell support women as they're trying to conceive? Can you just talk to us about what you guys offer and what, let's say, someone who's trying to get pregnant should think about getting, what someone who is going through perimenopause, what they should be thinking about getting?
Yes. So I think, we have a formula called our daily hormone balance, which we created for women that will help you through most of your life phases. We're really focused on creating targeted solutions to where you're at in your journey. But our daily hormone balance is really great for women who are going through PMS, PCOS, PMDD, who are also trying to conceive, because what our daily hormone balance does, it's a blend of adaptogens, herbs, functional mushrooms, vitamins, amino acids. It's basically what I did is I created a formula where I took like the best of all the things we need and put them in one thing. Because when I was on my journey, I was taking so many different tinctures and so many different things, and it was really overwhelming. And I understand, especially as being a mom, like people are really busy, and we have to create a formula that's really comprehensive, that gets a lot in. And you don't have to stack a bunch of supplements. So that's really what the daily hormone balance is. It's like a really hardworking hormone balancer that help you manage stress, all those things that you will, all the symptoms you'll get with PMS. Like that's basically what that is solving. And then women who want to conceive, we definitely recommend taking the daily hormone balance, because you need to have balanced hormones and healthy hormones in order to, you know, easily conceive and carry a healthy pregnancy. But then we have targeted supplements like our fertility and egg health, which helps boost fertility and improve egg health, quality, viability. And so that's really important to take too. And then, the egg maturation or cycle is 90 days. So you want to start taking this, I would say at least 6 months in advance. But it has CoQ10, vitamin D, folate, which all work really well together to create this environment of the best fertility you can have and great egg health, so you can carry and get pregnant easier and carry a healthy pregnancy. And then a
Yeah.
prenatal, of course. We all have to take prenatals before we're getting pregnant. Once again, at least 6 months in advance, I recommend, before you're getting pregnant, during pregnancy, and then postpartum, it's great to take prenatal too. And then we
Yeah.
have, as you move into perimenopause, like we're moving to a different life stage, we have a perimenopause formula as well for women in that stage.
I reached out to you to bring you on my podcast because what you're doing is so unique. So, what should women look for if there are other companies out there when choosing hormone supporting supplements to ensure that they are truly safe and effective?
So, what women should look for when they're shopping for supplements is, there's a few things that are really important. And the first one is making sure that the formula is really clean and tested. And what I mean by this is, within the production process, you source ingredients from around the world where these ingredients are naturally grown, and you want to make sure that the suppliers test their raw ingredients, and then you want to make sure that the brand is testing the formula as it's in production to make sure it's saying what it's saying on the label. Like, is it non-GMO, is it gluten-free, whatever those things are. And then a great thing to look for is companies who do third-party testing. And this is the difference between a company testing it themselves and somebody that's not invested in the brand testing it. So what we do is we send our formulas, our products, to a third-party lab called NSF, and they test it for us to say what we say on the label is true and accurate. And it really ensures efficacy and potency and cleanliness, so that there's no like toxins, molds. Because if it has any of that stuff, it won't pass that test. And that's just a really great way to ensure that what you're putting in your body is clean. Because if, say, you're trying to get pregnant, like you do not want to be putting any more endocrine disruptors in your body. So like you just don't want to be messing around taking formulas that have like questionable ingredients. And so I always recommend buying brands that are made in America, because there's a lot more quality control there. Like there's a lot of things on Amazon. There are supplements that are coming from China that are, they're not really tested. So it's kind of risky to know what's in there. If there really is the level of vitamin D, for example, they're saying is in there, it's like kind of questionable. And then glass packaging for jars, I think, is important. Like we all know microplastics are like taking over our world and attacking us everywhere we go. So just trying to minimize that impact on your body. Like once again, you're trying to get pregnant, you don't want to put any endocrine disruptors in your body, and plastic leaches into supplements. So avoid that. Safe packaging across the board, whether it's pouches or glass. And then I think it's always nice to look at brands, websites. It's like, hey, is this made by experts? Like, who is this made by a doctor? Like, what's the story behind the brand? If you really understand the brand, that's really helpful. So like for example, with Ladywell, you heard my personal story. We also have a board of doctors and naturopathic doctors that help formulate our products across the board. So we want to look at our formulas from different angles: naturopathic doctors, nutritionists, fertility specialists. So we have a cohesive team of people that really look at different angles for women's health and come at it from a lot of different angles versus just one viewpoint.
Yeah, that's great. So thank you, Ashley. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about this. I think a lot of people just don't know enough about how they can naturally support their own hormones. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to say that we're offering 20% off to your audience. So Egg Whisperer 20 is a promo code. If you want to go to our website, you can find us at getladywell.com. Our handle is at Ladywell. If you want to go on social, we definitely put out a lot of content. We're really big on education. We want to continue to build community and just have this be more of a conversation in the world, how we can be proactive about our hormone health, how we can destigmatize the conversation even around hormones for women, which is both of those things are very important.
Well, thank you for doing that. Egg Whisper 20, you guys heard it here. I'm hoping that someone will listen to this and hopefully their PMDD will be resolved by all the work that you've put into your company. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening and making the Egg Whisperer Show a part of your weekly routine. To find show notes and a full transcript for this episode, visit dramy.org and look under the blog tab. While you're there, you can find a link for the Egg Whisperer newsletter, which keeps you in the know about fertility news. You can also find Dr. Amy and the Egg Whisperer Show on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. If you'd like to learn even more, Dr. Amy offers classes at the Egg Whisperer School, eggwhispererschool.com, or you can request a consultation on dramy.org. Thank you so much for tuning in and for sharing the Egg Whisperer Show with others. Keep sparkling and have a great day.